Hello there. Thank you for joining me. Let me just get this thing set up here. And I'm really struggling with this today. Alright. Just trying to pull up my stream manager. There we go. Well, hey there. I'm Nate. You probably already know that if you're watching, but it looks like nobody is. Cool. So, we are continuing the Loca Ventures site here. I did a little bit of work on figuring out this grid, but we'll talk about that later. First up, I've got to talk about some housekeeping. So this is going to be the last time I stream talking about Loca Ventures. I think we're just about done with all of the assets that have already been provided, and there is simply not much else to do. So once we finish up with this page, that's going to be everything. Friday I have an engagement I have to take care of, so I will not be streaming on Friday. However, I will make up for that by being back here next Monday. So first thing, with that out of the way, first thing I want to talk about is this grid. So let me pull up VS Code, and we can see I was really struggling with figuring this out last week, and what I actually did is I was able to determine all of the proportions here. So we got all of the vertical proportions right. Unfortunately, the screen size that they seem to be working with in this design is kind of like not great. So the image proportion sizes to themselves are likewise not great. So basically what I did is I just went through and I counted, I got the pixel location values of each of these, and then I was able to determine what those were as a percent, and this is what I came up with. The horizontal proportions are still just kind of guessing. I could have done the same thing, but I'm fine with that. So I also determined a specific height, removed any kind of max width or max height off of the children elements. So we're good there. First thing I need to do though is we'll see this header right here has quite a bit more padding on top, and we'll also see that when I go here, it's not looking the same. So we need to change that up, and we are going to do that by putting this again in its own div. And we are also going to give it an ID. Just so that we can go down here, give it a little bit of padding. Let's see, what was that padding left that I need? 2M it looks like. Is that right? 3M. Wait, hang on, that's vertical up there. Hero padding 3M. Is that going to be the same? Yeah, 3M, 3M, 1M, 3M. Okay, yeah. Alrighty, and that should get it moved over. We've got a lot of margin on that, so we're going to remove that margin on that. Alright, so let's take a look at what's going on here. Ah, yes, the classic typo. There we go. Cool, that's looking better. And we're even going to pop up that font size, which is at 2M right now. We're going to pop that up to 3M. And we are going to the first column is going to be what, 10%. Throw padding left of 10%. And we're going to drop that font weight. Let's see, what are the font weights that we actually have coming in here? Landing page. Oh, no, that's not what we need. We need to look at the header to check our font weights. Mono Sans 400 is going to be the font weight that we want. Excellent. Give a good refresh there. Look at that. I'm liking that a lot more. I think we're looking good there. Cool. So the other thing I want to do is just add a little bit more vertical space here on that level. So let's take a look at what that is. I call it partners. And we've got the level inside of there. So let's go padding 10. I think what did I have that at? 10M. All right, so we'll just go overall padding of. We'll get real large and say 15M. And then we'll just do that 3M on either side. Or rather than that, we'll say auto. And I don't know why that happened. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on here. Partners, padding. Alright, that makes sense. Cool. Hmm. 3M. It is going to be 3M. Alright. Cool. Alright. And now I'm feeling better about that. Just adding some white space in there, making it look real good. I'm liking how this is looking now. These images should be swapped out, honestly, but it's fine. Cool. So now we are going to move on to this Meet the Partners section. So we're going to start, well, first off, we need to talk about these images. So we've got 3 things we can do. We can, I've already found some headshots, and we'll take a look at those here. Alright, so there's one of them. There's another one. Same guy, actually, here. And there's all of our headshots. So a couple of things we can do here. The first thing I want to do is I want to crop them all to be the same size. Or at the same aspect ratio at least. Probably going to do like a 2:1 aspect ratio, 2 height, 1 horizontal or width. And then we need to figure out a way to make that background transparent. So there's a couple of ways that we can do that, and the first way that I'm going to talk about will be, just get all of these open. Hopefully I don't kill my laptop. Alright, that's all I am open. We can actually exit out of that there. Alright, there we go. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is using this mix blend mode. So let me get all of these cropped first. Bust out my cropping tool. Alright, and we're going to say bam, 2 to 1, 1 to 2. Sorry. Oh man, that's what I'm talking about. Maybe I should just open one at a time there. Yeah, running OBS and GIMP and VS Code and Chrome all at the same time is not allowing my laptop to like me very much. Okay, so we need to be 2 to 1. I honestly don't know if the height of these is going to allow me to do that. Yeah, it's looking pretty bad. So let's say 1 to 3. Oh, no. 1 to 3 is even crazier. Okay, so you know what? We're going to do it live. We're going to go like that, and like that, and like that, and let's see what that is. Just tighten that up a little bit, tighten that up a little bit. Alrighty. So there's that, and we're looking at 3719 by 2537, which is going to be, oh, let's see. Oh, no. 2796 is almost square. It's almost 1 to 1. Yeah. $25 to 20 or 28 to 25 is a weird, strange ratio. So let's pop this out. See what that gives us. Oh, that crosshair centered right on the dude's nose. All right, cool. So that's the aspect ratio we're going to work with. I'm just going to write that down so I don't forget it. 28 to 25. Very strange. Okay, and that's just because of the height of the image that we're working with. We could change that. I'm not going to. So that's our image. I am going to scale it down because this is gigantic, and I am going to scale it down to be, let's say, 200 pixels tall. So we'll go like this, and we will say, we'll bring that in here, height. We need to keep those proportions, and we're going to say height of 200. Should automatically change that. Cool. Oh, look at that, it's so tiny. All right, I need to crop layer to image size. Oh, image to layer size. Fit canvas to layers, there we go. There we go. All right. Sorry, it's looking a little pixelated here. So we're going to go ahead and export this, and we're going to do it as a PNG. We're going to press it. We don't need to do any of that. Great. So now we're just going to go in here, start with a little bit of markup. Hello, Cat's Camera Chaos. How you doing? Alright, so we're going to start with the staff item. It's going to define this whole container. We're going to throw an image. And I believe the one we were working with is headshot 1. It's going to be in assets. Slash image slash source slash headshot 1.png equals Bob the builder. We'll give it a title of Bob the builder and subtitle builder. Get Chrome back open. And there's Bob the builder. Alright, so what we need to do is we need to get that background to be the same color as our background. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take a look at our CSS, find that gray color, which is that 8.6, I believe. No, it's F9 is the off-white. So we're going to be looking at staff. Alright, that should match that there. Alrighty, we have got a margin here for some reason. What's going on there? I'll inspect this here. Background gradient, we got that. Alright, so we'll say seems to do it. Might be able to go a little less than that. Not sure where that 18 pixels is coming from. All right. Cool. So we'll get back out of there. Cool. And then we're going to be looking at. Oops. So we're going to be looking at mixed blend mode. Pop it open in the air. Okay. So we see we have a solid background color on this. The mixed blend mode is normal. And then we've got, there's a lot of different settings. So all right. Look at all of that. can actually do that right in here to see what our different options are. That's exactly what we're going to do. Get that back in there. There's the image. Next, blend mode. Wow, look at all of that. Look at all the things that are happening here. You can barely see them. Alright, so none of this is going to work because our image just isn't right. And that's fine, because this isn't what I want to use anyways. What I want to do is I just want to go in and get that background to be transparent, because that's going to do much better than anything we can. So we're just going to go ahead and select the background, paint it white with the pencil tool or the brush. I am by no means a Photoshop expert or a GIMP expert. So if you know of a better way to do this, by all means. We're going to go into colors. We're going to say color to alpha. I'm just going to hit that from white to alpha. Oh man, that's not looking good. Alright, let's get that back out there, and then we can actually just use this. We'll use a, there is an alpha channel already, so that's cool. Now everything is alpha-fied. The other thing we could do is we could just give this the same background color as our parent element, but I think this is a little better because that allows us to change the background color without hopping into Photoshop. So go ahead and export this, overwrite what we already have. There we go. And get that opened. Lovely. Look at that. Alright. So now I just need to do that with all of the other headshots. Alright. So it's interesting, there is like this whole discussion going on right now about the divide between like the front of the front end and the back of the front end. So talking about like front end engineering and front end like design or implementations and stuff. And GIMP is freaking out on me right now. The idea kind of is that people on the front of the front end, they're more concerned with what ends up being served, and they're more concerned with you know, the design, the usability, the UI, the UX, whereas the back of the front end people are the people who work with like, oh, it's just a huge image, that's why. They're going to be the people who are working on stuff like this. They're going to be talking about like the web architecture of the front end. They're going to be working with the way that pages are served and all of that kind of stuff. What I am doing right now is in that realm of kind of back of the front end, and the reason I bring this up is because this is not typically the space that I work in. So like one of those people who are like a jack of all trades and a master of none. I am certainly not a master of GIMP or Photoshop or anything like that. Yeah, but I definitely know where to try to focus. All right, GIMP is really just not liking me today. I'm also killing my RAM right now. So if anybody wants to buy me a new laptop, so I'm not killing my RAM, send me a message. Not quite sure why we're not doing anything here, GIMP. Just doesn't want to work for me today. Alright, well that's fine, because we do have one image that is completed, so we'll just go ahead and use that, and then we'll make this this grid here. So let's talk about it. There's one image with unsaved changes. We will just forget about that. Cool, so we need 5 more of these, and they're going to be in 2 separate rows. So 2, 3, 4, 5. Alrighty. Just giving these some different names. Cool. So we're just going to use some basic stuff here. We could do this with grid. We could do this with flexbox. We could do this with none of that. I think just for the sake of alignment, we're going to use some grid stuff here. So we're just basically setting up a grid that is 3 columns by 2 rows. We could actually set up an additional column right here, or an additional row right here, and an additional row right here, so that we have all of that. No idea what that button says. Let's see. Yeah, I can't read that. Okay. Alright, so that's what that's going to say. So yeah, let's do that. Grid template rows, we'll say 4m. We'll repeat 1 fraction for 2 rows, and then we'll get another row that's 4m. And then we'll say for the H1, we just want that to span everything. Cool. And then the same thing for the button. But we're actually going to have to put that button in some sort of container. Cool. Grid, column, span 3. I realize I put span 4 up there, so that's what we're going to want. So this should give us a pretty close. Oh, I need 1 more of those. Staff items, I only had 5 up there. Cool. So this is getting us pretty close. but nowhere near where we actually need to be. So we need to first get some padding on that. And I'll just do that with padding, 3M all around. I'll kind of squish everything in. And then we've got our items called staff item. So these we will use the flex display on. Put it in the column. And then we'll say align items center, justify content space between. One thing I cannot stand about like these little cards like this is when there's one thing that's like, oh, this is going to be like displayed, you know, aligned to the right, but the things under here are going to be aligned to the left or center, or inconsistent alignment. I don't know if that's exactly what they were going for up here, but you'll see that the left side of the image is never aligned with the left side of the text. I don't really like that, even though left aligned text is easier to read. So we'll go like that. And then it'll left align everything. And then we've got this title and this subtitle. Say bolder font weight and size 1.5M, and then this subtitle we'll just hit with a little bit of opacity. Cool, looking good there. So we're going to say align content here of center. I believe that's what we need. I'll kind of push everything to the center of the container or not. Alright, my cat is begging me to get in right now, so let me go get him. Come here, Tanner. Yeah, what's up, buddy? Yeah? You want to say hi to the people? Here's Tanner. What are you doing, bud? What's going on? Hi. He doesn't come up on the desk usually. Do ya? Yeah, so you're just gonna get in here and try to eat everything that is on my desk. Alright. There you go. Yeah, so we need to kind of get everything aligned on an axis within these columns here. Cool. So there's the grid that we're working with. Inside each of these, we're going to say justify content center. No. Align items center. Align content flex start. No, that's not going to do it. Okay, so I think actually if we put a display block on those, no, it doesn't. Okay. Or if we put a width 100%, see, that's gonna make it float over that way. I do also want these images to have a width of 100%. Wow. Alright, so that's huge. We need to add a little bit of a grid gap in there. say 1.5 M. That should make it look nice and pretty. And then we are going to say image, title, subtitle, width 70%. And then, wow, all right. What does that do? I think that looks pretty good. I'm all right with that. Cool. And then when we collapse down, throw some media queries in there. So we'll throw media max width, mobile breakpoint. We'll say grid template columns. We'll just say 1FR, and that should collapse everything pretty well. Ooh, that's interesting the way that happened. All right, let's get back down here. Yeah. One container. No, we can actually go like that too. We're going to have 6, 7, 8. Yes, that's cool. All right, we're not. And let's just take a look at why that is. Pop that doc out. Alright, so we're still looking at 1FR. Alright. Partners is spanning 3. Alright. So we're just going to go like this. There we go. Cool. So we could break this down even further. I'm going to leave it as it is for now. Yeah. So then for meet the partners, that looks like it wants to be aligned right there. I'm not sure why it isn't. Probably because of that alignment there. So we just need to give it a little bit of actually, I think it should be that. I think we might be able to go like this. Bam. There we go. I like the way that's looking. Cool. Tanner's still sitting right here. Oh, he's getting up now. What are you doing, bud? Bless you. All right, moving on. We gotta look at this big section right here. This is gonna be real easy. Almost a copy. You okay, bud? It's gonna be almost a copy of, I believe it's gonna be this page. Nope, it is going to be this one. You know what? I'm not sure. And all that. Yeah, it's going to be almost a copy of that page. So let me out here. Was that the programs page? No. What was that? The about page? Yeah, because we're on the index right now. All right. So it's going to be like just straight up a copy of this page right here. So let's go take a look at that markup, and we can just bust that in. Hero, title, video. I don't know what just happened. All right, come on. There we go. So now we go back here and take a look at what that looks like. There you go. We just need to change up that text, which is the companies we partner with usually look like this. Lovely. All right, but we see that we're actually looking at the same background color, so that did not work because I don't have a background off-white. Oh, sorry. It's background white that I need to be using. Nice. There we go. Looking good. Happy with that. All right. So now Tanner's on my notes. Okay. So excuse me, Tanner. I need to. All right. So now we just need to talk about our media queries to collapse everything. So let's take a look at that. I don't like the way that this looks. It looks kind of terrible. All of this looks kind of terrible. Obviously, this looks absolutely horrendous. Meet the partners is not bad. So let's get over to meet the partners because I see something that I missed. And that is going to be this here. So we're going to start with a 4M, and then, or not for the columns, we're going to say 4M. All right, there we go. Cool. That margin was just looking pretty big. So this breaks down just fine. This breaks down just fine. And now we have to talk about all of this. I don't know if that looks absolutely terrible or not to you, but it looks absolutely terrible to me. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back up here to the Hustlers section. And we are going to give it a media. And we're going to say grid template columns, just one FR, and a grid template rows. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 1 FR, and we're going to give it a height grid VH is actually still good. So then we just got to add in our media queries to get everything collapsed. I know it's a little bit boring to just collapse everything down to a single column, but that's kind of what we got to do. Yeah. Unfortunately. They all need to be in the same grid column. The thing that's going to change will be the grid row. So this one, 1, 2. This one is going to be 2, 3. And this one's going to be grid row of 3, 4. Go like this. And that is just not right. Should be 2, 3, 3, 4. Everything should have a grid column of 1, 2, and this one row should be 1, 3, 2, 3. Row of 3, 4 of 4, 5. Just miscounted. All right, cool. Look better there. That first row is going to be a little smaller. Say 3M. 4M maybe. And then we also need to remove our margins from everything. We just say margin 0. There we go. Almost. All right, maybe we can't just say margin 0. Where is this at? I've got an error somewhere. Margin 0, margin 0. $4.99. What did I do there? I don't know how I did that, but okay. Still got a margin. Okay. There we go. Looking good. All right. Those images suck, but whatever. Okay, so working with this level here now. We can actually get out of there. Looking at this level. We're going to be looking right here. So let's go to level. Alright, so it's saying little breakpoint. Alright, so that's fine. that we collapse down to a column there, but we need to take care of some other stuff too. So we need to say text align, actually on the level item. We'll say text align center. And we'll just give it a 1M margin all around. Cool, that's looking better. And then we don't need as much padding on the top there, and that's going to be actually on the ID for that partners. So we'll say 5M, 3M. My watch just told me it's time to stand up. There we go, that's looking better. All right, now we need to talk about making this functional and also getting it to display very nicely on mobile, because that right there just is not going to work. All right. So let's start by getting that to display nice on mobile, and then we'll talk about what we need to do to make it work. I believe this is slider. Okay, cool. So the container is going to stay the same, but the controls is what we're going to have to change up. So on this, here we go, let's just get that selected. What I want to do is the controls, we are going to give it a greater margin top to, or we're going to a lesser margin top, I guess. We're going to kind of align these things a little bit better. We'll say like 350 sounds good. All right. So we'll say media, max width, mobile breakpoint, negative 350. And then the other thing we need to do is give it a flex direction of column reverse. And that's going to put the panel above the numbers. And then we also need to give it a justify content space between, or we can also do this. No, alright, that's not doing anything. We're going to center align items center. And then I want to give it a little bit of margin between these two items, and I want this item to be the right width. So that's going to be the tabs we're not going to have to touch. Width. I'm going to go width of 90%. And then I don't think we're going to have to touch anything else there. Cool. I like the way that's looking more. And then we have to give this the tabs. We need to justify content center. And we have to give it a margin top of like 1M at least. I think that looks fine. The only thing left to do is make that image bigger. The tabs, media max width, mobile, justify content, center, margin top, 1M, and that should look real nice. Beautiful. All right, and now for the image, controls panel. Where is, okay, there's the container. All right, the container is active. So what we need to do is take that down. Okay, I see. All right. So I moved a little fast there. And then this down here, controls, give it a margin top of 0. That's what happens. But I do still want to have like some overflow there. Let's see what 150 looks like. There we go. I think that looks good. Yeah, 150 rather than 350. All right. Cool. I think that looks nice. Yeah. All right, so now let's make that functional. To do that, we are going to need some JavaScript. And before I do that, I think I am going to take a short little break here just to get some stretching done, let my cat out of the room. My watch did just tell me it's time to stand up, so I'll be back very shortly. Thanks for hanging out. I am back, and thanks for hanging out. So we need to make this slider work, and the way we are going to do that is with some JavaScript. There are like CSS solutions, but I always find those to be a little bit hacky and just not the best thing. So we're looking at the slider component right here, and basically what we need to do is change the image that is active, and we need to change the content that is active as well. And the way that I have it set up is with each one of these buttons, each one of these links, there is a data controls attribute. So what that will do is it will tell the JavaScript, hey, the button that controls the second item has been clicked. So, find the item, the image, and the panel that have the data target of the relative controls attribute, and make those things active. Oh, and also remove the isActive class from the other things. So let's set that up. So just to make things a little bit easier, I am going to split this to the right for reference so that I know what I'm looking at. So we have got the buttons down here. They are actually the tabs. So we'll give all of these a class of slider control. Yep. So that we can select them. Alright, give me 1 second here. My cat's trying to get back in. Many apologies. So we're going to go ahead and say let controls equal document.query selector all slider control, and we're actually going to have to wrap that array.prototype .slice.call. Bam. There we go. If controls for each, if the controls exist for each control, as go like this, take that, L, we'll add an event listener. Don't take that E. Take the E there, the event there. Well, prevent the default, and let's just console.log l.dataset. I believe it's going to be controls. Yep, data controls. All right. Pop over to our console over here. Give a refresh to the page. L is not defined. Interesting. What's going on here? Nothing's happening. Okay, so that gave us something to work with. And not say I didn't save it. There we go. L is still not defined. L is still not defined. Okay, there we go. All right. What am I doing wrong here? Oh, there we go. All right. Cool. So here's what we're saying. Find, this line is saying select all of the elements with the class of slider control and put them into an array. And then if that is successful, if that produces something, for each of those things that it produces, add an event listener, listen for the click event, and then do the things with it. So right now all we're doing is e.preventDefault. But what we really need to do is find the elements, the images that have the isActive class and hide those images. So we'll say var active image equals document.querySelector slider image.isActive, and then the active panel as well. Slider, and that's going to be dot panel dot content dot is active. Okay, and then we'll say active image dot class list dot remove is active, and active panel likewise. And now what we need to do is find target image equals document.querySelector slider in the image that has the data target equals the elements controls data set, which is going to be from the data set, which is var target l.dataset.controls. Okay. Data target equals name plus target. So what we're doing here is a little bit of a complex CSS selector. So we're saying find the element that is within this slider element. It's got to be an image, and it must have the data target of whatever the data target attribute of whatever the elements, the clicked elements data target attribute is, or controls attribute rather. And we have to do the same thing with the target panel. Panel content data target equals plus target plus, there you go. And then we'll say target image.classlist.add is active, target panel.classlist.add is active. I made a typo. I caught it this time. Oh, made two typos. And then we also want to give, we want to remove the isActive class from the other slider control. So we'll say var active control equals document.querySelector slider control dot is active, and we'll say active control dot class list dot remove is active, and then we need to add the isActive class to the control that was clicked, and luckily we already have that selected as L dot add is active. All right, let's pop over here. And I'm not sure if we're actually going to see anything change. All right, I cannot read property class list of null at 36. Active control. Yep, need to remove that space. And there we go. I think I have the same image sources and everything here. Yeah, I sure do. So it's working, but we just need to go into that markup and change some things. So let's take a look at the available images that we have. Pop that out. Alright, now my cat actually wants to get in. 1 second. Buddy, you've got to make up your mind. What's going on? Yeah, go hang out with Dan. Alright. Let's go, and we need to say back in the source. That footer is actually just a JPG, and we'll say headshot 2.jpg. Cool. And now we just need to gives me the opportunity to build things by giving me access to building tools that I never imagined before. Cool. Good for you, Bob the Builder. And we'll say Gregory, who is the CEO of Greg Inc., to be boring by giving me access to gray colors that I never imagined before. Now I can simply focus on general boringness and learn to bore people. All right. And there is our working slider. It is not beautiful, and I'm okay with that. We can see that there's a little bit of a content shift, and that's okay. I'm all right with that. Cool. So there we go. That's Locaventures, and that is the whole site. There's nothing else to be done here. I don't have any other designs to work from, and I don't think that I could create anything that is within the style. There are obviously going to be a few things that we can touch up here. You know, like these images right here. We could get some better source imagery for this. We could get a better source video in the right aspect ratio. But really, you know, that's it. So that's what we've got. Thanks for joining me on this journey. I'm not sure what I'm gonna get into next, but I hope it's gonna be fun, and I hope you're gonna enjoy it. If you have any suggestions for what you want to see, I would love to hear them. Yeah. I don't know, maybe I'll work off of another dribble shot. Maybe I'll just do some streaming on the front end mentor challenges that I've been doing. Maybe I will. I'm talking to a couple of different clients right now. It's possible that I'd be able to stream building their sites. That would be interesting. So we'll see what's next. As always, this video will be uploaded on my YouTube channel. You can check me out at natenorthway.com. I'm on Twitter, I'm on LinkedIn, CodePen, all of that. There are some new videos on my YouTube channel going through some front-end mentor challenges, which have been really fun. Yeah, thanks for hanging out. And like I said, I will not be here on Friday, but I will be here next Monday, and that's when we're going to start a new series, I guess. So thanks for hanging out with me, and we'll see you then. Bye.